The mystery of Santiago Flight 513. In the history of aviation, there are stories that defy explanation, legends that push the boundaries of human understanding. Among these is the chilling case of Santiago Flight 513, a flight that vanished over the Atlantic in 1955, only to resurface 37 years later under incomprehensible circumstances. Its return left investigators and the world with more questions than answers. Where had it been? What had happened to those on board? And how could they have piloted the plane when only skeletal remains were found? This is a tale of impossibility, where reality bends and mystery reigns. On September 4th, 1955, Santiago Flight 513 departed on what should have been a routine journey from West Germany to South America. The aircraft, a reliable Lockheed Super Constellation, carried 92 people on board, passengers eager to reach their destinations, and a trained crew ready to navigate across the Atlantic Ocean. Guided by experienced pilots and backed by the confidence of cutting-edge aviation technology of the time, the flight seemed to be progressing smoothly. At first, there were no indications of trouble. It was business as usual in the mid-20th century skies. Then the flight vanished. Over the Atlantic, all radio communications abruptly ceased. One moment, the flight was on course. The next, it simply disappeared from every radar. Control towers frantically tried to establish contact, but there was only silence. When hours ticked by without answers, concerns grew into dread. Search crews spent weeks scouring the Atlantic for any sign of the aircraft. Rescue teams and naval forces scoured the waters while planes searched from above. Yet nothing surfaced, not a single piece of debris, no oil slick, and no clue as to what might have gone wrong. Authorities were left with an extraordinary mystery on their hands. The families of the passengers were forced to live with uncertainty, unable to grieve fully or find closure. As days turned to months, and months to years, Santiago Flight 513 became one of many unsolved aviation enigmas. Its story faded into relative obscurity, tucked into archives of unresolved cases. Little did the world know, the mystery was far from over. It was October 12, 1992, when the inconceivable happened. At Porto Alegre, a quiet airport in Brazil, air traffic control picked up a signal from an unidentified plane approaching the airstrip. There had been no communication from the aircraft, no indication it was part of any scheduled flight. Attempts to establish contact went unanswered. Ground controllers, perplexed and wary, watched as the mysterious airplane descended over the runway. The plane landed with eerie precision, coming to a smooth stop. It bore no signs of distress or malfunction. As the staff on duty hurried to address the situation, they noticed something startling. The markings on the fuselage identified it as Santiago Flight 513, a plane that had officially been missing since 1955. The realization sent shockwaves through the airport. Could this be a mistake? Surely this was impossible. The scene was surreal, as if time had brought back a ghost from history. But the true horrors of this flight's reappearance were yet to be revealed. When investigators boarded the plane, they encountered a scene that defied all logic. Inside the cabin, everything was intact but frozen in time. The luggage sat neatly in overhead compartments, undisturbed. Oxygen masks dangled unused, seats were upright, and the cabin interior looked untouched by time. Seated in every chair were skeletal remains. Fully clothed skeletons still buckled into their seats, appearing as though nothing had happened. Some were in positions suggesting calmness, while others seemed frozen mid-gesture. The crew, too, were still in their places, but what chilled investigators most was the cockpit. In the captain's seat sat another skeleton, its bony fingers gripping the controls. The scene suggested that the plane had been piloted to its landing, but how could that be? There was no plausible explanation. The state of the remains and the pristine condition of the aircraft itself confounded both investigators and experts. What haunted those who examined the case was the question of time. How could the passengers have perished long ago, yet seemingly continued their journey? How had the plane landed without human intervention? And more disturbingly, where had Santiago Flight 513 been for 37 years? In the aftermath of the landing, authorities moved to investigate privately. What little information that was released to the public only deepened the mystery. Official explanations were scarce, with details from the investigation shrouded in secrecy. Airport employees reported strange sensations while in the presence of the plane, as if they were in the midst of something far beyond human comprehension. It was said that officials analyzed flight logs found on the aircraft, though their contents have never been disclosed. Skeptics questioned whether those events ever truly occurred, while witnesses insisted it was all real. For the rest of the world, Santiago Flight 513 became a chilling reminder that not everything can be explained, but many refused to accept mystery as an answer. Theories soon began to emerge. When it comes to an incident as extraordinary as this, explanations range from plausible to outright fantastical. Each theory offers a glimpse of possibilities, yet none brings conclusive answers. One of the leading theories suggests that Santiago Flight 513 flew into a time warp, an anomaly in the space-time continuum. Scientists have long speculated about such phenomena, where time slows or accelerates drastically. This could explain how the flight remained suspended in time for decades, reappearing in the modern era just as it had vanished. Another popular hypothesis is that the plane momentarily crossed into an alternate dimension. Proponents of this theory believe the passengers and crew might have experienced an entirely different reality before being inexplicably returned to ours. Was the aircraft caught between two worlds, rendering it a ghost of both? Some suggest Santiago Flight 5113 was taken by extraterrestrial beings for study. The reappearance of the plane, along with the skeletal remains left in a position suggesting calm, might imply some form of otherworldly intervention. While less supernatural, some believe magnetic forces or atmospheric disturbances played a role. Areas like the Bermuda Triangle are known for strange disappearances, with theories suggesting electromagnetic fields may hinder navigation and cause disorientation. Skeptics argue that the entire event could have been a fabrication or exaggerated urban legend. Could Santiago Flight 513's landing have been staged as part of some secret experiment or forgotten hoax? If so, why would it be so carefully hidden? Each theory has its strengths and its flaws. None can address every facet of the mystery. The story of Santiago Flight 513 has endured in the annals of unsolved mysteries. It ranks alongside tales of missing vessels like Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, whose vanishing sparks a familiar sense of fear and fascination. Aviation remains one of humanity's greatest triumphs and most haunting vulnerabilities. When we step aboard a plane, we entrust ourselves to forces we can only partially control. Stories like Flight 5113 remind us of the unknown lurking in the skies. For the families of passengers, there was no happy ending. Closure came not in the form of answers, but in haunting silence. To this day, no official verdict has been given. Public fascination with the story has persisted, inspiring films, fiction, and countless discussions about how reality may sometimes be stranger than fiction. Santiago Flight 513 is an enduring enigma, an unsolved question that challenges the boundaries of science, logic, and belief. Was this a glimpse into a dimension beyond our understanding, a case of time itself bending under forces as yet undiscovered? Or a hoax designed to play on humanity's gravest fears? We may never know. What remains is the sense of awe and dread left behind by a plane that defied every expectation and every explanation. As we look up to the skies, perhaps we should remember how vast and unfathomable our world and universe truly is. Where do lost flights go, and could they ever return? The truth perhaps remains out there, waiting for those brave enough to search.